Go.
I don't suppose you're so thrilled with the result, but that was a hell of a game.
No, it was a good game. I think we should, take it for what it was. There was lots of lead changes. I thought they were really hot early, so we should be, in some ways, proud of our performance to, really dominate the game after the first 20 minutes. And when you get 31, 32 shots, it was more than that. We had a couple out on the full, and the three of them were rushed. Then you've done enough to win the game. So that bit's disappointing. But I thought the quality of the opposition, especially early, they were hot. You sort of look through their leading possession winners, and you're like, pick one, pick three, pick four. They sort of played like that. Might have been a little bit of a flat spot in the last month, but they certainly weren't tonight. So it's a credit to them.
Obviously, Jesse Hayden was a thorn in your side all night. What were you trying to do to quell him? Is there much you could do?
So again, this is going to sound dangerously like an excuse, and it shouldn't. That's not my intention. And a lot of teams are sort of finding already in a relentless season, it's really tight. If you lose a few key players, there's a big flow-on effect. So we knew that. We went into the season thinking Blitzarves, Jack Henry, Kolodjasny, Stewart will be the cornerstone of our defence, and none of them are available. At least Blitzarves having to play in the ruck because Stanley goes out. So the levers are somewhat limited. And we have said a couple of times, really pleased to get Connor O'Sullivan into the team, and that's going to be great for us. It's been good for us short term, but it's certainly going to be good for us over the longer term. But given the way they started especially, it was like, we didn't think the mode was, let's close this game down and lose by 5 goals. So again, it was sort of go after a little bit, which gave them some looks on the way back. And I think when we review it, again, my sort of takeaway at the moment is that we did really well to get the shots. So sometimes you try to review the process rather than the outcome. And there are a couple of plays where we thought, gee, we've got a really good look at this, and bad bounce here. And, so I'm not saying we were unlucky generally, but it was just it was one of those things where you look at a goal against and it's like either, gee, that was a very good play from the opposition, or we didn't do a lot wrong, we just didn't quite execute the skill well enough.
That defence seemed to want to come up the field and be really aggressive, particularly early. Do you think finding the balance between that aggressive style of play and then how to get back and protect the corridor a bit more maybe got lost with some of those senior players out organising that back line? Yeah,
a little bit, but there were some decision-making errors that sort of led to them having that open forward line, which would be really, I think it is really clear already to some of our players, and it will be even clearer in the review. But yeah, that balance is always there because I guess the best case study for you to look at if you're interested is the Adelaide Oval game. You had two of the really sort of powerful attacking teams in the competition in perfect conditions kick 50 and 30 points for the game. And that wasn't because they both parked the bus in their defence. It was because they played higher and pressured. And I think when they're on, they've got a system that is a bit hard to stop. But I do know that if you just kind of sit off those ball users, Callaghan and Ash and Whitfield off the back, and they still got the ball tonight, but if they get it under no pressure because you're protecting your defence, you'll be defending for a long time.
Michael Blitzarves had a strong game as the number one ruck, but obviously just missed that one at the end. Have you got to him, and how is he going post-game?
I haven't got to him, but he'll be disappointed, but he's the eternal optimist, Blitz. So it's not to say that he won't be feeling it tonight, but I would encourage him when he feels that disappointment to remember, without him, we're not in the game. We thought he was fantastic, and again, to get the shot, it's like, this is where coaching is a little bit like coaching under 12s. It's kind of like, okay, not the outcome we want, but some of the process and the effort and the way we went about getting back into the game is something we should be proud of. And again, you sort of think in a tight competition, you lose a game by a point or two, and it feels like the end of the world. But these are situations where the closeness of the comp's actually a positive, because even the best teams will kind of lose close ones.
What changed around the clearances after they were so strong in there early?
We thought, I was about to say we. It was me. We made some errors early with the way we structured up. Took a few educated risks, and I thought that actually destabilised us a little bit. So, as always, when you don't get the outcomes you're after, it's a little bit the players, and it's a lot the way you're set up. So, we look at ourselves first. So, when we got some stability in there with Bailey Smith and Holmes in the centre bounce a bit more with Blitzards, and I thought, again, to my eye, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, they just beat their opponents. So that'd be my main observation.
You're referring to starting Cameron in the set square is not on him, but as making it a bit different.
Yeah, well, maybe, but we started Smith out on the wing, Cameron in. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been Cameron in, because that's one of those things where I thought it was a very high probability of it working. And when it doesn't, you think, we shouldn't have done it. That retrospective thinking is easier from your side of the table. But I think the relevant part there is, time over again, I would have had Smith in there. But again, this is splitting hairs. You sort of gun players start on the bench these days. It's not. I think we started a qualifying final with Selwood and Dangerfield on the bench. Wouldn't do that again, but still.
Sorry.
I'm just reminiscing.
Part of the thing to kickstart Jeremy, who's been, he's been good, but not at his best.
Without giving too much away, we thought the last quarter against Collingwood, and this is the way I've almost never looked at individual stats in game, and I think they're massively overrated when I do look at them post game, sort of in parallel with reviewing the game. I don't think Cameron had a lot of the ball in the last quarter, but he was hugely influential against Collingwood. So that probably more coloured my thinking. I won't speak for the other coaches.
When he went out onto the wing, though, he kind of became the main neat conduit going inside 50 as well. So his field kicking obviously works for you a bit further out now that you've got some other assets inside 50, right? Yeah. He'd be up there with the best ball users up the ground in the comp. So that definitely factors into our thinking. Is that a weekly conversation you have with yourself, or where can he be most damaging for us in any given week? Yeah, I have lots of conversations with myself every week. It's not pretty. Tonight, halfway through a Barossa Shiraz, I'll have another one, give myself a good stern talking to. Again, I'm not sure how much I want to say, but I think I have said before, and this is probably enough, we really empower our players, especially the guys that have been around for a while. So I think there's still probably this idea that we're pulling the puppet strings from the coach's box. Still 95% of the work's done during the week, and then in the moment we kind of defer to the experts.
You see the Jed Hughes, that looked like he had a real impact on half-back.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was a real credit to our people, our performance team in particular. He had a nasty finger injury, a tendon injury, which just takes a long period of time, but he was into his training pretty quickly, albeit without any ball handling, and just in really good physical shape. And as I said, it wasn't just Stewart, Kolajasny, Henry, it was Lawson Humphries as well. So we backed in that he'd done enough work to perform well, and that decision was certainly vindicated. It's a credit to them. It's a credit to him as well, obviously. Yeah, he performed well.
You've said in the past couple of weeks you don't delve too much into the concussion side of things, but do you think Lawson and also Stewart and Henry are a decent chance to return next week? Yeah, I'm going to get a bit of help on. Do you want me to just give my opinion? Yep. Yeah, I think Stewart plays. Pretty sure Humphries. No, he'll. According to him, spoke to him today. Yeah, he's a lock. And Henry, the decision on Henry will be whether we decide to bring him straight back in and then a 5-day break into the Bulldogs. We'll think through that one. But in these situations, it's really tempting to get involved, because we would have loved to have Jack tonight. I'm sure we'd love to have him next week. But this is where the coaches should take a step back and just let the experts do their work. They'll make that call, not us.
I'm not asking too much about the Giants, but do you get the sense that they're really comfortable at this ground?
Oh, I'm not saying you're lazy, Hazy, but I think it sort of does. Well, actually, so the short answer is yes. But there's some logic to it as well. Like I have admiration for clubs like GWS and the Bulldogs. I think I heard a stat. The Bulldogs are playing at their 7th different ground, 9 rounds in or something like that. Like the competition's really unfair the way it's structured, and so those clubs that can overcome that, I have some admiration for. But there's also this added benefit that kind of comes with it, if you like, this kind of side effect that playing at weird venues, and this is a world-class venue, but it's strange to most teams that come and play here. I don't think has the same impact on them. But if you sort of put it all down to that, I think it's doing them a disservice. Again, just go through their players, look at their background and go, okay, they've been a good team for a long time for a reason. Is that a lazy answer as well? Or
No, it was a lazy question, that's
yeah.
all right.